let's talk about the, how would we call it, or how would we put it? Let's call it the crossover between other phenomena, specifically out-of-body experiences, Preston, and the UFO enigma or encounters themselves, and what you have been able to find in terms of how they relate.
Yeah, this is yeah, hitting me in the heart center. I absolutely love astral projection and out of body experiences. And very early on into my research, almost immediately, I learned how to become a better interviewer and just leave the questions open ended and ask some people, tell me about any strange experience. And almost all contactees started sharing accounts of near death experiences and healing. They started sharing accounts of near death experiences and healing and gosh, pretty much everything. Ghostly encounters, remote viewing, clairvoyance, precognition, levitation even, that came up. But it became clear to me that all these subjects are connected. There's something going on here that took me years to unpack and try to figure out. And I'm still kind of on that road. But one thing I have learned is that almost without exception, as I mentioned earlier, contactees are profoundly psychic.
Mm-hmm.
This is more the rule than the exception. And perhaps they have all these experiences before contact, but definitely afterwards. So it is a two-way street. But contact can wake people up to mediumship and you name it. They start having channeling, being able to do psychic readings. I'm like, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
I personally got involved in 1986, really dove in deep in 1988, started having encounters, and guess what? Started having out-of-body experiences. Big time. Got really good at it and still have these experiences.
Really? How often?
Yeah. Oh, once, twice a month, at least. It goes in waves.
So they're not self-initiated, you just let them happen?
Oh no, they're self-initiated.
They are self-initiated. Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, they certainly happen spontaneously as well, but there's a process that you can go through to sort of, I pursued them vigorously after reading Robert Monroe's books.
Robert Monroe. Are you familiar also with William Buhlman?
Oh, of course. He helped me a lot. Yeah.
Did he really? Okay, William. I haven't been in touch with William for years, but I meant to bring him up. Not to digress too much, but insofar as our conversation on healing and the contact encounters, William, not only has he, or Bill, as we call him, has not only taken a multitude of accounts of other people that have been healed with OBEs, but he himself was healed from, I believe, cancer in an OBE state.
Right. OBE and healing, there's a big connection there.
Absolutely.
As there is with encounters. But for me, there was one case in particular that was a real wake-up call. And I'm always perusing the UFO literature and heard about this pilot who was coming in for a landing. I believe this was in New Mexico. And private pilot, little plane, had 3 UFOs come around him and pace him for a short distance. And really freaked him out because they were quite close. And stayed there and then zoomed off. Fairly typical pilot encounter, but really interesting, certainly. Comes in for a landing and speaks to authorities about it. And shortly later, got a visit from 2 unidentified government men, intelligence agency folks.
Here we go again.
Who had a lot of questions for him. Wanted to know everything that happened about this encounter. And not only everything that happened during the encounter, but afterwards. Did he have any physical reactions? No, not really. And then they asked the question, which really surprised him and really surprised me. He said, have you had any out-of-body experiences following your encounter? And he's like, wow, yes. It was just shortly following his encounter, he had a major astral projection out-of-body experience where he left his body and flew around and came back. And I thought, oh my gosh. And it started to click in my head. I'm like, I've heard this before. How many times have people told me that, I've had this contact experience and I became good at astral projection. Still not even thinking to myself, gosh, this happened to me. So it became clear to me that there was a integral connection between all of these subjects.
Sure.
When people have a poltergeist outbreak following an encounter, and even Bigfoot, some of these encounters intersect. It's really wondering about this. And finally, when it comes to like poltergeist outbreak, I was always blaming something else. No, I think it's the person. There was one lady who's dealing with this kind of thing, and she told me she had an encounter, went to work feeling kind of fluish, not well, and her computer went offline. She called the IT guy, went to the copier and pushed that offline, and told the IT guy, well, after you fix my computer, can you fix the copier? Went to the fax machine and pushed that offline. I can't tell you, this is their bioelectric field. This is what's causing poltergeist
Sure.
activity.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. In many cases, yes, indeed. Yeah. I know someone, I have a cousin that was constantly had come to visit me and was constantly shutting down lights and clocks and yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Light bulbs blow up, and one lady had street lights going off above her head.
Well, that's what they call it. Yeah.
Yeah. One guy was a welder working with a very expensive welding machine in an auto factory, kept blowing it out. The company heads were not happy and finally insisted he go to the doctor and be checked out. They found an implant, but could not figure out what was going on with him.
Wow.
But
They
he
found
knew.
an implant.
He ended up going to UCLA and doing a study with Thelma and Moss. And they studied the light bulbs that he was breaking. They're not exploding, they're imploding.
Yeah.
So there is something going on here.
Sure.
I think what happens is when someone is taken on board a craft, they're telepathically communicating with ETs, who themselves have the ability to levitate, turn invisible, teleport, do all the things that we consider superhuman abilities. But we have these abilities. And there's many accounts. If you study the lives of the saints, for example, they have immunity to fire, superhuman strength, teleportation, levitation, multiplication of food, you name it. We can do all these things. And it's in every culture.
It's in every culture. Yeah.
So what's happening here, this is my assessment, is when you are next to somebody or when you're interacting with somebody who has this level of spiritual development and awareness and is utilizing it and sharing it with you, because people are telepathically communicating and they come back and they're telepathic. No kidding. They start reading people's minds and having all these abilities that the ETs display. And I think astral projection fits right in there. And it's pretty common.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, we're totally on the same page, Preston, with all of this. I mean, I have always said, insofar as the contact encounter and all that it entails is concerned, everything that's told about what the witness, if you will, or the contactee experienced, including being phased through solid surfaces like walls or ceilings, the telepathic connection, all of what is necessary to interface with these in forms of intelligence, we must have the ability to begin with to be able to carry it on. You never hear that it's a one-way, it's not a one-way telepathic communication. It's two-way, which means, again, perhaps the encounters themselves are there to teach us or reignite or help us remember, rejoin what we've had all along. So
100%. And it's another clue to me that this is not a negative experience for people. Even though it's very scary and uprooting and difficult, ultimately it's to our benefit. And I think this is one of the main benefits. It's a real wake-up call, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally.
Oh, 100%.
It's 100% higher journey. I love the title of your show.
I'm glad you do.
Absolutely. That's what's happening to people. They're
Yeah.
lifted up out of their ignorance and delusion to a whole new way of thinking,
And it can
a whole new
happen like that.
perspective.
Question. You and I believe, share a similar philosophy in terms of the numbers of people that may be having contact encounters. I, of course, gave my unconscious contact. It's a thesis that I have been sort of articulating for quite a few years, unconscious contact. Are you an experiencer and don't know it? In which I went into a whole litany of clues that might show that millions, if not billions of people may be having contact, maybe at some level, the entire human species, most of which are not aware of it. Okay. I think you and I don't know if you're quite all the way there. I'm still kind of on the fence, but I have looked into this being far more common than we know. Now, that being said, in keeping with the out-of-body experience connection, could it be that a lot of OBEs could also be unconscious? And it just kind of dawned on me. I can't recall having a conscious OBE. I know I've been on the brink a few times when I was very deep into meditation. But I have had the sensation, and I know a lot of people listening out there have too, of thump, you're in a sleep state, kind of maybe in a hypnagogic state, and you feel it's if something sinks back into your body. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I sure do. Yeah,
Do you believe that that's connected to perhaps an OBE?
100%.
You do?
And I think
Okay.
if you look at the people who really pursued this subject in a firsthand basis, uh, absolutely agree that we all have out of body experiences every night.
Mhm.
All of us. We're all out there and we're fully conscious. It's kind of like changing a channel. You're out there, you're doing your things, and you're fully awake and you know it. But then you come down, and in the same way, it's very hard to remember your dreams. It's very hard to bring this to connect the out of body consciousness to the earth 3D consciousness. It's the same in essence. It's just a different, I don't like this term, but a different channel, a different, I'm not exactly sure how to put this, but
Frequency, dimension. I mean, so many things
it's a
apply.
different dimension. Yeah.
Mm.
But absolutely, we all do this. The trick is remembering. And that's why I always encourage people, to keep a little dream book, do when you wake up, relax, try to remember who you were with, where you were, and what you were doing. Those three things. Allow yourself a little extra time to sleep. Go to bed a little early, sleep a little later. There's all these ways that you can absolutely pursue astral projection. And I cannot encourage people enough to do this because it is a wonderful and easy open doorway
Yeah.
to a whole, greater awareness. And it's so much fun. The
Oh, yeah.
things you can do are off the charts. I mean, meeting with deceased loved ones, visiting the Akashic Library, learning about past lives, meeting enlightened masters,
Do
going to
you
healing.
direct yourself sorry to cut you off. When you're doing these self-initiated OBEs, are you directing intentionally to some of the things that you just brought up? In other words, have you done sessions where you say, "Okay, I want to enter the Akashic records."
100%. And in fact, almost always that works best. A near death experience is largely structured by not by the recipient, but it follows a fairly ordered sequence of events that they are not in control of. That's the real only difference between a near death experience and an out of body experience. A near death experience is usually caused by trauma and it follows a sequence of ordered events, whereas an out of body experience is initiated by meditation or spontaneous.
Or
Most people will
spontaneous?
have a spontaneous one at some point in their lives. But you can go anywhere and do anything, and it's all about intention, all about focus, all about you direct your consciousness towards what you want to learn or visit or do. And it's so much, I mean, it's so amazing. When I met my mother on the other side for the first time, we've all lost loved ones, and we all know how difficult it is. It is so hard. But boy, they live on, and you can prove this is the best thing about astral projection. You can prove that life after death is real, and we are eternal, which is one of the big messages ETs are trying to do. This is why they're trying to wake us up to this ability, because this will help us move past the greed, corruption, the war and
Oh,
aggression, the
absolutely.
the pollution, the destruction of the environment. The main message that they're trying to get through us is grow up. It's time.
It's
Act
time.
like a person.
Yeah,
You know,
I hear
we are
you.
the ones who are violent and committing genocide and doing horrible things to each other. It's not them. It's
Yeah.
us.
Which was taught And that's it. I've asked humbly on so many occasions, how did we descend into this just, you know, I don't even want to insult the animal kingdom by saying to almost animal-like qualities, certain predatory type animals, I suppose. But how did this happen? Was there indeed, and this would open up a whole other conversation we can't have now, a fall from consciousness, a fall from grace, and what and I don't know if that's the most important question. Is the question is, how do we get back to what we know is innate, and that is love and nothing else, frankly, and
Yeah.
not just
Well,
love
love
as
and
an
truth.
emotion. Well,
Yeah.
love, truth to me is implicit of love, though. You can't have love and not
Yeah.
have truth.
Thank you.
Right? When you have love, you have everything because truth is built into that. You can't not tell the truth if you're truly in a space of love. And love, not just as an emotion, but a frequency. I've talked about that. And I believe that there could very well be. It's just like we talked about the emotion on the main show, seemingly opening a door to phenomena, to experiences. Well, imagine a very deep and intense euphoric experience. That too can initiate certain types of things that we're talking about here. So yeah. Oh, it's so fascinating.
I love it. Yeah.
Oh, I love it too. It's exciting. We're gonna wind down because we've been going almost 2 hours, guys. Again, this is the shorter segment, but you know what I want to do, Preston? I want to have you back on the main show and just talk about OBEs and your experience. Would you like to do that?
I would love it. I
I would love
absolutely
it
adore
too.
the subject, and I could talk for 10 hours on it.
Really? Oh, I love it. Well, you know what? It's so funny because I thought about Bill Buellman. I need to connect with him again. You know, guys, I actually narrated Bill and his wife Susan's book, Higher Self Now. That was, I believe, the first audiobook that I narrated
Oh, wow.
for Bill Buellman and Susan Buellman. I sure did. So I think
Wonderful.
hopefully his ears are burning right now. So, oh
Well,
my,
knowing him, Bill, he's,
yeah,
he's,
he
he's
stopped doing podcasts. He said, I'm not doing, he was one of my first guests, actually, 10,
yeah,
12
I
years
reached
ago.
out to him. He's like, no, don't really do that now.
He doesn't want to do it anymore. Is he still teaching at the Monroe Institute?
No, I don't know. I
Yeah,
hope so.
I hope so
He
too.
helped me a lot in developing my own, astral projection experiences.
Yeah, yeah.
Just as
Oh no,
books, I mean.
he's a pioneer in all of this for sure. So shout out, Bill. I'm gonna call him. Preston's asking for it. We're asking for you. Maybe I can get him. Maybe I can. I'm gonna see if I can twist his arm and get he, and you to come on the main show and talk about OBEs.
Oh, wow.
I bet you I can do it. I bet you
I
I
don't
can do
doubt
it.
it.
Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I'll see if I can lure him. But listen, don't hang up. I want to say a proper goodbye to you. Finally, we've been on for so long, but listen, y'all. Let me hear from you. Are you an experiencer as well as an OBEer? One last question. I'm going to put that out for you guys to answer. But here's a question, Preston. I want to end with. We'll end on this. I like to say when we're talking about strictly the ET phenomenon, where all abductions are contact. All abductions are contact. Not all contact necessarily could be considered abduction. That's my theory. Are all out of body experiences? I don't. Let's see if I can do a crossover here. Do you feel that people that have out of body experiences are all contactees, and are all contactees OBEers?
That's kind of a trick question
It is
because
kind of a trick question.
I
Okay.
like you, I don't like the term abduction. I will just throw that out there.
I don't either, but
But
yeah.
I do think that pretty much all people on this planet, because contactees have told me this, have had some level of contact. You might not be aware of it. It may be very subtle in terms of inspiration or something along those lines, but they know of you at the very least.
Mhm.
But the contactees I've talked to have had full levels of contact say, oh, yeah, we are all known by them. We have all been taken
Mm,
on board at one
mm.
point, or at least had some level of communication. And yeah, we all are out of body travelers, every single one of us. It's
So
really
if
just waking up to all of this. Uh,
okay.
so it's a journey for sure for all people, because some people come down to earth not for this. They're coming here to learn something, which could be sports, it could be science, it could be any number of things. And it might not be your journey right now to have ET contact or work on psychic development, perhaps. But absolutely, we all have out-of-body experiences. We're all astral projectors. And to some level, I think we're all contactees too. So yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Woohoo! You heard it, y'all. Okay, there it is.